Alright, what's going on, guys? Kevin here to bring you a brand new video. For today, we are going to be doing a bonus video for Horror October. And for today's video, the movie that we rewatched, is called Hush. This is a movie that I had seen a little while back and really liked it. Apparently, because it was number 6 on my, most favorite horror movies of all time, or most favorite movies of all time, rather. And yeah, I wanted to see if I still held that opinion, because a lot of people I know have said oh, this movie isn't that good. What are you talking about? Dude, how is this number 6 on your list? And I was I don't know, I just really liked it. And I hadn't seen it in a while, which was fair. So maybe I didn't have the best judgment in making it my number 6 pick. And it was one of the few movies in my top 10 that I didn't rewatch. So I was yeah, I guess, I don't know, maybe it's not that good, but this is just my judgment based on how I saw it 3 years ago. So yeah, and I decided to watch it now because I feel I've watched so many movies over the past 30 days, that's 31 days rather, to the point where it's I've gotten so critical of films, and this is the perfect time to see this movie, to see if I actually just flat out hate it. And I still like it a decent amount. I don't like it as much as I did back then. For me back then, it was more just I just wanted to watch a fun horror movie, and I was just really into it the whole time, and I just thought it was an amazing thrill ride of non-stop fun. But now that I come back to it, yes, the film does have its share of issues, I feel because some people say there's too many cliches in this movie, but there are two pretty big cliches, or well, one's a cliche, the other one's just kind of a broad moment. But the one cliche is that the villain in this movie wants to kill this girl because he couldn't have her or whatever. It's the classic cliche of guy can't have the girl, so he has to kill her now kind of thing, which is not that bad, but kind of okay, alright, I could see how some people would look at this in a negative fashion, and it's not that bad, but at the same time I'm yeah, it's kind of average in that regard, I guess, just from that, when you're looking at that. But the movie's premise in general is really good overall. I really like the premise where it's this deaf girl is being hunted by this guy, and she has to do what she can to survive. I just think that's really cool, and the use of silence in this movie to build up the intensity is really good, especially since this main character is deaf. And yeah, throughout there are a couple of moments here and there where you're why did they do that? The biggest glaring one is at the beginning, when the fucking villain is just standing behind her and could have killed her right then and there, but he doesn't. So it's just kind of okay, what was the point of that? And there's a couple times, that's the worst part. That's the worst moment for me, But like there's a couple times where like a girl tries to like leave the house, and she tries to like create like a diversion, and it's the classic like trope of like guy gets distracted by sound, and like she tries to like run. It was just that was a little silly, sure. But like the movie overall, like the storyline is interesting. Just like she's like a writer and she's deaf, like she's got some friends and she knows some people, and you know, she randomly spots this guy who's, you know, I guess trying to, you know, seek revenge on her, basically, for not being his GF, I guess. And like a lot of people like talk about like, oh well, why did he take off his mask? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like that kind of ruined it. Like yes and no. Like it's still a good fun horror movie, like regardless of that factor. But like I guess like the moment when he like takes it off and then he like starts like talking to her like about like their history together, like that's a bit cringe. I will admit that is a bit cringe. I'll give you that. But also the mask in general was kind of cringe to begin with. So the fact that he took it off, I mean, doesn't really impact the film a lot to me. But either way, like I just think through and through, it's a good, solid story, good, solid premise, and it's told really well. And all of the horror moments are fairly enjoyable, aside from a couple like questionable like character decisions. Like I don't know why the man said he was a fucking deputy. Like I was like, okay, but whatever. And like one of my favorite parts towards the end is when like she's like a storyteller, so like she kind of like talks about like how things can end, and she begins like playing out different like scenarios in her head as far as like what could happen, and like a lot of them just show her being killed, and like at one point you literally think she was actually being killed, but obviously I knew she wasn't gonna die because I had seen the movie before. But like they literally show like a long clip of the man like smashing her head in with a fucking rock or brick, and you're like, oh my god, dude, fuck. But like, and like the way it plays out at the end, like really fun. Like she uses like the alarm to like distract him, I guess. She like sprays him with like hornet spray, and then she like stabs him with this thing like just at the right time. Like so intense. I really love that. I still really love that. I think it's really well done. And like I guess like she was like holding her arm here like before she like reached out to grab the thing. Maybe it was like for dramatic effects, but like still that's like a little like questionable, the fact that she was like holding her hand here, and then like finally like as she's being like strangled, she finally reaches her arm out to like grab it, and she kills him with a cork. So you're like, all right. But I mean, it's just a really good movie still. I mean, I still really like it, but I will say I don't think this movie belongs in my top 100. It's kind of tough to say, but I think it should certainly be lower or higher on the list, however you want to interpret it. It should not be number 6. I think it should be maybe more like 90s, 100s, or close to 100, but definitely not number 6. And I don't think it should be on the list at all, but I don't know. It's still a really good movie. If I had to rate it, I'd give it a 8.3 out of 10. So yeah. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this extra video for Horror October. Hope you liked it. But yeah, make sure to like if you've enjoyed the video, and subscribe to see more stuff. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Maybe another Horror October this year. episode. We'll see. Alright, I'll see you guys later.